Good morning, beloveds.
Good morning.
And welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Chico. It is certainly my pleasure to be here today to love you up and to be loved in return. And as I mentioned last week, I'm dedicating the services this month to Reverend Louis. And because it was this month that he made his transition. And so, what the perfect word for the month, kindness. And so, it is with that perspective that I offer my views and my knowings on kindness, Love points the way. And here we are. Here we are, immersed in a spiritual community of joy and compassion and emotion. And therefore, one ever evolving into an individualized self. We're ever evolving as the individualized expression of God, of Spirit. And we're individualizing as yourself, myself, in the oneness of the one universal self. So what is this self that is termed individualized? That's something we learn and hear and teach in this science of mind. Well, the self spiritually is clarified by Dr. Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind textbook. Thusly, and I quote, "The higher the sense of truth, the greater will be the realization of the uniqueness of individual character and personality." I'm going to repeat that. The higher the sense of truth, the greater will be the realization of the uniqueness of individual character and personality. And he goes on to say, the real self, the true self, and students of Science of Mind, we capitalize the S, which is the higher realization of spiritual self, is God-given and cannot be denied. It is the place where God comes to a point of individualized and personified expression. Here we are. Here we are. And he says, I am the light of the world. Say that. I am the light of the world. And that's the end of the quote. So the higher the sense of truth. What does this imply? Well, for me, it implies that the more often we recognize and acknowledge a power, the power of God, power of good, power of supply, as greater than, a power greater than you and I, a power greater than all that we are seeing as real, the higher, the more elevated our view of the possibilities become. We get to see a greater picture. We loose our blinders that have been placed by, not me, but each one of us, on yourself. So it is at this moment that we begin to see with an eye of greater wisdom. Some have called it the third eye, but I like to believe it's the first eye, the one eye, the eye of God. And when we're in this state of awareness, of consciousness, the possibilities as ideas bubble up. We've all had some bright ideas, haven't we? How many have you denied yourselves? One. None. Hundreds. Choice. Choice, choice, choice. Possibilities are always bubbling up. are we too busy to feel the bubbles? I get too busy. I'm busy right now. It's a nice bubble I'm on right now. But we are busy human beings being human. But our bubbles up, are spiritual. And they rise up if we allow them to do that. Let's look at the word impossible. However, how many of you say, oh, that's impossible? Can't do that, that's impossible. Impossible, the word is comprised of two opposing perspectives. Im, which means no way, no how, not, and possible, which contains the elevated view, a greater idea. The ideas that are possible, those bubbles, that's possible. So when we eliminate the first two letters, the I and the M, what's left? Possible. Possible. And when the letters I, stay with me, and M are pronounced as two individual syllables, what do we have? I am possible. So what I'm trying to convey for you, because I've seen it different lately, is when we say impossible, I want you to think of it and seeing it as I am possible. I am possible. I am possible. Say it. I am possible. Now, not this or that thing. Not that do, busy, but I am possible. I am in the possibility of creating something for me that's good. For me. It sets up a whole different game for a spirit to play. I am possible. You know, and our mind begins to open when we think about what is possible. In the science of mind, Dr. Holmes says there's a power greater than you, and you can use it. Students use this power of God, to claim what's possible. Don't you? Don't you? We might have claimed something that we wondered, well, sorry I got that. But I asked for it. Somehow I asked for it. Now sometimes, when we get those lessers, and have those lesser times, that's a little harder to think that was one of your bubbles, all right? All right? And we've all had them, and we'll have more of them. Because we perceive them as good or bad. It's human nature. But spiritually, moving back to the power of your word and the power of God within you, I know that you have within you an inner strength so powerful that it can overcome any adversity. I am possible. Say that, please.
I am possible.
It is the power for good. The power of an indwelling spirit. Use it wisely. Direct it with clarity. Those are a couple of, I have to direct it? I just can't just say blah, blah, blah and let it go. Yeah, a little bit. But it's like a small child, and a new idea is. And we have to kind of keep encouraging that new idea. We have to nurture it. We have to, if it gets a little out of hand, you have to move it back into line a little bit with love. Just notice. Just notice. It is designed to be directed. It's at our beck and call, this power. Some people are afraid of it. I kind of am at times. When something magnificent shows up that was put into place 5 minutes or 5 years or 50 years ago, and it shows up, it's like, whoa, wow, wow. It's more of a feeling than a thing, but when it shows up, we all know, we all have that feeling. Remember that the power of God is not bound by time and space. We box it in. It's only an appearance of not there or not here. And it is when we are in denial of it, of our good, of the bubbles, of whatever we say we want, we put a stop sign somewhere in our thinking to the process. I have a question for you. I like questions. Do you know that? Yeah, I do. You're new here, right? Okay. Vanna. So the question is, what are you insistent about? Where does your emotional energy run rampant? What are the words you use to express your feelings? Be mindful. Pay close attention to the power that you put in back of your word and those you offer to yourself, to your experience, to your family, to your loved ones. Are they words of love? Are they words of love? It's easy to be in love when it's a lovely experience. Yeah. Love is what you are, what we all are as spiritual beings. Love is natural and normal and kind. And it feels so good, doesn't it? It feels so good. Love is our God self. Love is the right stuff. The God of you is the excellence of your divine nature as you. As you. Align with it, call it forth. Let it bubble up. Announce to yourself, I am possible. Now we're going to say this 3 times so you get it. Okay? I am possible. I am possible. One more feeling. I am possible. Now I believe that. I think you do too. So every time we remember there is possibility, we are insisting on that which is true. We are calling forth our spiritual excellence. Insist upon it. Insist upon your excellence. I have a reading was handed to me just this week. Manifestation. Came the very next day after requesting this. And it's written by Ayana Van Zandt. And she writes, when something is important to you, you take care of it. You make sure it is protected, nurtured, and that those things required for its maintenance are provided. Whether it's your child, your home, or your vehicle, if you consider the person or entity important, you will do your darndest to see that it's taken care of. In those cases where you have assigned a value to the thing that you consider important, the stakes are even higher. It is not true that there have not been times when you have denied, jeopardized, or put aside your own needs and your own well-being to provide for those you consider important and valuable. Most of us do it most of the time. And that is exactly why it seems perfectly normal. The destruction of self-worth begins the moment we assign a value to something outside ourselves, more important than our self. Now there's a balance in all of that. But when we deny our own wellness, our own peace of mind, our own spiritual wellness, that's when life appears to be, for us, individually, as a suffering. Because we're out of balance. We're out of balance. I'm a Libra. I know about the balance thing. At least the scale. Sometimes it's like this. So, insist upon your excellence. Insist is a verb, and it expresses an act. It means to stand upon. To be resolute about something intended. And resolute is an adjective, which doesn't stand by itself as an adjective. It's dependent. And it means bold and steady. So, insist upon your excellence means to stand, to be resolute, to be supported by your word. There's a term used by the captain of a ship in a rough sea. Steady as she goes. Steady as she goes. Your ship will experience rocky times. May even wash ashore. May seem to break up. But the same materials that built that ship can build another one. Booker T. Washington said, bless you. You said that too, I'm sure. Excellence is to do a common thing in an uncommon way. Excellence. The uncommon way is the unique way you are able to express it. It makes no difference to spirit how it's expressed. It's your choice. So remember, beloveds, the real self is God-given and cannot be given away. Abundant possibilities always surround you. So claim your now. Claim your now. Claim your now. Insist upon your excellence in love and in kindness. And so I leave you this morning with the wisdom of Dr. Benjamin Spock. Trust yourself. You know more than you think you do. This is the truth as I know it to be. Namaste.
Namaste.